your support. So without further ado, I would like to introduce this beautiful panel. I don't know what order you're on your Zoom screens, but Daniel Sharman.
Hello, everybody, all 913 of you.
Bradley James.
Oh, hi. Yeah.
Sarah Parrish.
Yeah.
Nerva Carlson.
Yay!
Hey. Yeah, well, there should be applause.
Thank you.
William.
Oh, William.
And my partner, the great producer, Luca Bernabe.
Yay.
Ciao, hello.
Ciao.
So here we are, and we have so many questions. I'm just going to begin.
Unwell over there.
Sorry, go ahead.
Unwell.
Oh, he's already mentioned me. He already introduced
Oh,
I got him. I got everybody. I think I got everybody. If I could just ask each of the actors, how did you prepare?
I'm sorry, Frank, and everybody knows you, but I mean,
Oh yeah, me.
famous
Frank.
writer, showrunner, and partner, producer with me of the show, Frank Spotniks.
Hey!
Introduce myself. So for the actors, if you could just tell us briefly, how did each of you prepare for the role in Medici? What did you do? In any particular order?
Go on, Dan. Off you go.
Well, I think by preparing in terms of, you know, I think I personally did a lot of reading and a lot of kind of, I went to Italy a bit early, and I just wanted to kind of do a lot of tour. We got an amazing tour guide in Florence who showed me around, did a lot of, just a lot of reading, a lot of audiobooks, a lot of kind of immersing myself in understanding the history of it. And then, and then I got there a bit early to eat like a proper Italian, and, you know, relax like a proper Italian. And really that I feel was key to understanding Lorenzo.
Very good. Anyone else?
Well, again, I think like Dan, we did a lot. I think when you are playing a real person, you have a real responsibility as an actor to do as much research as you possibly can. And because this family are so influential in medieval Europe, you know, I felt that it was really important to read up on Lucrezia and find out what kind of woman she was. And it was quite amazing to find out about a woman who, in the day and age when women were seen and not heard, had so much to say, you know, and was so learned and so political and so artistic. So yeah, I did a lot of research on her. It was really important. I think that's my daughter. Excuse me.
William, Bradley, Sirova?
Also, I mean, just kind of, I guess, similar, lots of reading. And what was amazing about being in Rome for my character in particular was that she was from Rome. So whilst everyone else was from Florence, they didn't get to shoot in Florence. They didn't really get to immerse themselves in the Medici, whereas I got to see the Orsini family, like walk around and find out where her family was from, which was cool. But following on from Sarah's point, like, what I did notice was there's so much less written about women. So you have to go the extra mile to find, like, there would be pages and pages and pages on Lorenzo, and then there'd be like a sentence at the bottom about Clarisse, which is, you know, the way things go. So I felt even more of a responsibility to, like, I had to buy a load of books because there was just a line in lots of books. So you're kind of grasping for information, but that's kind of good in a way because you have to, like, broaden your scope of research. And
Very good. All right, gentlemen, come on, don't be shy.
Bradley, do you want to go next?
Thank you, William. I did a lot of the things you just heard that everybody else did. There's two things I could throw in the mix that were slightly different. One was that I bought the Assassin's Creed game that I heard had the Medici in it. And I was like, oh, I'll learn loads from this. And I played it for ages. completed a bunch of tasks, like waiting for the Medici to turn up. They eventually do turn up, and then they disappear just as quickly. So that was almost a complete waste of my time. It was a good game.
Expensive.
Yeah, the what?
Is it expensive?
I feel like I probably got my money's worth. The amount of
Yeah, brothers. Have you got it? Have you got it with you right now?
I mean, I can see it if I train myself to look.
Like the lockdown.
Yeah. Completed it. No big deal. The other thing was that I looked at sibling dynamics in like powerful families, and obviously the best example we have in England is of William and Harry, and just try to pick out sort of like similarities, tropes that I could use with the relationship between Giuliano and Lorenzo.
So which one of you is William and which one of you is Harry?
I mean, I would assume it was relatively straightforward in that Daniel Lorenzo was playing the William.
Yes.
Giuliano was the more fun one, who everybody liked a bit more, Giuliano.
Moving on, William.
I did the same you guys did. I did a little bit of research on Giovanni, and also just the locations we went to when we were filming really helped, like prepare, just because they're all so old, and it was very easy to act and get in kind of that imagination of Giovanni and the characters at that time. So yeah, I did pretty much everything you guys did as well.
Somebody's asked about wearing the costumes.
Yeah, I think that was one other thing I would say was I was really nervous when I remember when I first got the job, because I went to drama school and there was always talk about like the time period and like how you hold yourself, and also like how like the clothing sort of like enforces the way that people relate to each other and act towards each other. So I think when you actually get into the costumes, there was suddenly this like transformation, and I don't know, it's such a jump in history, so you almost worry that you need to really try and relate to this person and try and empathize with them fully. And something about the costumes and the amazing designs, you put a dress on and it just transforms you into that.
Totally.
So well. So that was a big help.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel and Bradley, what about sword and using sword and horse riding?
Yeah, I mean that's another another thing about it is you go to drama school and they go you'll be in the costume in this thing, and then you can fake a lot of things, but you can't fake looking good on a horse if you have no idea what you're doing. So or with the sword. So we got there early, and we had to do kind of riding lessons, and Bradley, you've done quite a lot of riding before, obviously, because he's a bit of an expert. So we went, and I hadn't done much, so we kind of went there and got to kind of get used to being on a horse, getting on and off a horse. And I think like the thing that you realize is like, bloody hell, it's hard work getting on and off a horse, and like having all that costume and all that. There's a whole new level of respect for anyone who has armor or anything like that, getting on and off a horse. And then the sword fighting, we had amazing stunt coordinators and who were just so lovely and so sweet and very patient with Bradley and I and a few other who had to kind of wield a sword. So they were wonderful, kind of wonderfully patient, but also wonderfully helpful in just how that period was in terms of how you sit on a horse or how you fight, or all of those things. So they were very useful in us preparing.
I was also very patient with Daniel learning how to use a sword.
Not that patient.
I mean, come on, 3 years of drama school. What were you playing? I think also because we have a sword fight, and the hardest acting job I've ever had is to make it look like you're better with a sword than I am.
Yeah.
That was the biggest challenge.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but the performance in that scene is probably the best I've ever done. I would be wearing, on that note, Frank, you said about costumes, I'd be wearing some of my costumes right now if I had them, because my costumes were awesome. There is a Renaissance poncho in there, which it's raining right now. I wear it on the streets as we speak. I love it.
warm, aren't they? You're always.
I had a pretty good poncho, I seem to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even did a self-tape wearing one of the
Oh
costumes.
my god, yeah.
And the audition was set in space. And I went,
You got
I
all
would
of
use
it.
this costume because I can turn it into a space coat. And it
Just
became a space coat.
Space coat.
Bradders, are you ever going to put that audition up, your space coat audition? Because I feel like it was brilliant.
No. However, I will do one bit from it. 52 minutes. There you go.
Very good. You got the role, obviously.
Ooh.
No.
I didn't like the space coat, weirdly.
Nika and Valentina would like to know if each of you could say something in Italian.
Ciao a tutti fan di Medici.
Come si dice in italiano? How do you
Posso
say
avere
it?
uno bicchiere di vino rosso, per favore?
Very good.
Daniel, your turn.
Ciao, bella.
Ciao ragazzi.
Yeah, I'm
Again?
Ciao Bella. I'm pretty bad.
Now, Sebastian was very good at speaking Italian.
Yeah, he was.
Made people think he was Italian.
Yeah, but I asked him that on the first season. I said, I didn't know you spoke Italian. He was like, I don't, darling. And I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, is that Sebastian?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
I was
just
like,
put
what
on
do
a
you mean?
net
It's like,
weird voice, didn't he?
You just
Yeah.
keep making sounds and you not pick up a few sentences. And so I would just go around like, si, ah.
Luca, it's Sia wants to know why you chose to tell the story of the Medici.
Because it's a story telling the root of Europe to me. Because Medici were building an ideal city full of art, full of people that were called there from Medici family to become painters, sculptors, and I like this way of ruling people. So not just thinking to make politics, but thinking to let them live in a wonderful environment. So politics, in that period, there was a wonderful combination of politics, art, and try to make people living in a better place with huge, strong ideas.
There are so many people who have asked what it was like to work in Italy and to work with Italian actors and crew. Anybody have any thoughts about that?
I loved it. I thought
They were talking too much.
It was lovely. The Italian crew were great. They were really good fun and they worked really hard. And the Italian actors were amazing. Brilliant actors. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, it was just amazing.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I think just Italy as a whole is just like such a beautiful place.
I want to know how you guys had the discipline to not drink wine and eat pasta every night.
We did.
I don't think we did.
You look great. You look refreshed and rested every day.
I ate a whole thing of pizza every morning when I came in. By the end of the second series, I have a video of the costume department coming in with my dress, but they'd bring in a box of pizza with them.
Yeah.
Just have it. I'd have it in my dressing room all day.
And the costume department would also by the end of it, they'd be like, these don't fit anymore. Like the pants that fit you earlier, they were like, we got to let these out. You'd like double the size.
They would never say anything. They'd sort of make whispers.
Yeah, exactly. Just like
tight around the arms.
but also, and then you'd see the elastic just getting longer and longer and longer.
William, Kiara wants to know if you will say hello to her friend Hamna. It's her best friend in the world.
Name again?
Hamna, Hamna.
Hello, Hamda. Thank you for joining. Hopefully you're on, or if it's just your friend. But yeah, thank you.
There you go. You made it. Bradley, why do you always die in shows?
Good question. It is a good question. I feel like it's probably writers exacting their dreams and desires out in a script and placing me in these roles. I don't know. Maybe that'll happen less in the future. I'm trying not to take it personally, Frank.
Yeah.
At this stage,
If I'd known you were going to play the part, I wouldn't have killed him. But
you would have gone against history
Yes,
and
I would
gone.
have.
Do you know what?
Next time.
You haven't not died in a thing.
I have, but I feel like my more memorable performances are when people are like, "Oh, thank God he's gone."
You're just very good at dying.
Yeah, very good.
So
I've had
did
a
you die in Merlin? You didn't die in Merlin, did you?
Don't give away spoilers. But also, why haven't you watched the whole lot? You've just given away that you didn't watch all 5 series.
I know what happened to you in Paris.
What was the difference? William, this won't be for you, but for the rest of you, what was the difference between shooting season 2 and season 3? Did it feel very different coming back to reprise the roles in the second season? Third season?
Yeah, the third season. Yeah, I think it was really. I mean, what was really lovely was having Christian Duguay do all of the episodes. I mean, the fact that he took that challenge on and put all of them together, and I think he's brilliant. And the fact that he basically kind of was with us every step of the way and tracking us all the way was a massive difference. I don't know if everyone else felt that, but I felt like it was a really helpful thing to have him kind of really be able to see it from the beginning to the end, and to be kind of really a stickler for where things come in that, because we're shooting all out of sequence, and so that was really wonderful. And also, I think you feel like you know a bit more about where you are and who this character is once you kind of lived in it for a long time. So it felt a lot more kind of grounded, I think, personally, just being there a second time.
Makes sense.
Also, just the whole story, the story moves on so much in terms of time and where these characters are at in their lives. So it was definitely a different challenge coming back and raising a family suddenly, having loads of children, and yeah, I don't know, I think it felt like there was a lot of maturing that was also it was interesting because we had a break of a year, so in that time you sort of leave that character and then come back to it. But yeah, it felt like a very different. I think, as you said, it's much more grounded, and it's focused on the family more. I think.
I'll tell you the difference between the 2 series.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. Series 2, I'm there. We use the word grounded, all right? So far, I'll tell you what was grounded. Daniel Sharman, because I was there, keeping his feet on the floor. I go away for a little bit. I turn up a few weeks into filming the second series. It's aired in Italy. So, everyone's seen it. All of a sudden, all these people who turn up on set "Ooh, Daniel Sharman. Ooh la la." I turn up. This is not a joke. I turn up on set. He's sat there. We're in the middle of a wood. He's sat there. He's got one arm out like that. Someone's polishing his nails. He's got one arm out like that. Someone's giving him a hand massage. Someone's in handing a straw. There's a straw. Someone just put into his mouth. He's said, "Thank you very much." I've never seen him so pampered in my entire life.
Trimming his beard.
Trimming his beard.
Putting on tail under his face.
Frank, can you see why writers might want to kill Bradley off it?
Sarah, Lorena, and actually several people want to know, did you look at the performance of Valentina Bella, who played your character in season 1, and did you look at that performance and think of that or try to match it in any way, playing the same person?
Not really. No, it's quite. I don't know whether that's a good thing to do. Sometimes I think you have to take a character and make it your own. I mean, I did watch quite a bit of series 1 because my husband played the Doge of Venice, didn't he, in episode 5? So I did watch it and really liked it. And I remember watching her at the time and really, really liking what she did. But I wasn't cast in the part of Lucrezia by then. But I didn't revisit again. I didn't think that was a good idea. So I just did what I felt was right.
Somebody calling themselves Medici Masters wants to know, when you play intimate scenes, and I think Bradley, Cernerva, and Daniel, you all had intimate scenes. Is it uncomfortable? Is it difficult?
Want to take that one first, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, it's always very, people are always like, God, that must be really exciting. And it's like, there's 40 people, like, knocking around. It's usually like way too kind of hot or way too cold. And, there's people kind of like, you're wearing, it's just a very odd thing that you have to kind of navigate. And it's definitely, it's just about kind of trying to make something as kind of comfortable but realistic as possible. It's definitely like something that you look on the schedule and you're like, oh God, okay, right, it's gonna be a few days of just very uncomfortable kind of chats, like it's very intimate. You have to kind of let that stuff go a little bit when you're doing those scenes, and kind of just know that you're with this person, and you have to kind of make that as comfortable and as easy as possible, even if it's kind of extremely odd and kind of just uncomfortable.
I think if you're like comfortable with the crew and with the person that you're doing it with, it's always just fine. And often these things are so much more technical than you were made to believe when you're watching it. And it also helped that there wasn't like lots of nudity. I think nudity is something that does like get in the way and becomes, a separate issue. But if it's just not just, because that's like just as powerful, but if you're doing romantic scenes or whatever, or intimate scenes, that's kind of, no, I don't know. I think you're always kind of being intimate. If you're pretending that you're husband and wife in every scene, you're kind of always like pretending you're husband and wife, or pretending you're whatever, sleeping with each other or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
So. Props to the crew on this one, and specifically the first, whose name. What's the name of our first? Who
in series 2 or series 3?
Series 2.
Oh, the guy who used to jump up and down all the time.
Yes.
What was his name?
John's first or Jan's first?
Jan's first.
Tito.
What?
Tito.
Yeah.
Tito.
I was thinking about him. I was like, God, Chiro, what a guy.
Chiro.
There he was.
Yeah, Chiro.
No. Oh.
But no,
So-
Nico was the first. Nico Marzano was the first in the second.
Yeah.
So myself and Matilda did a very intimate scene. And Chiro was the first AD on that, and he basically laid down the law for all of the crew, who were very sort of respectful of what he said, because Matilda was obviously in a slightly vulnerable position in terms of physically and bearing herself, and Chiro basically just did the job of making everybody very comfortable, everybody just kind of like just being respectful of the scenario. And then when you're actually doing it, there's obviously a lot of mechanics to it, camera setups and what have you. But I think it helps when you're working with someone who is, I suppose, generous and responsive and has a good understanding of the scenario at the same time. And I was very fortunate because I got to work with Matilda on that, whereas Cernerva had to work with Daniel a lot of the time. So I imagine that was probably quite tough. But usually it's quite good.
Matilda actually messaged me about that, Bradley. She didn't have time.
Luca, Francesca says she loves all of your productions, Lux Vitae's productions, but sorry, Angela wants to know how you balanced historical accuracy with contemporary drama.
I believe it's always a thin red line, you know, that you have to make. Enjoying people, trying to be as much as accurate as possible, but trying to give them as much fun as they can have. I mean, and this is always a discussion between me and Frank. So, and we try to do our best. But it's easier when you're talking about about people that were living around Medici family, called Leonardo, Botticelli, Michelangelo. So you are telling the story of a period full of history and full of great personalities.
Very good. Will, can you compare your role in Medici to your role in Arrow?
I do not think I can. Arrow was probably, when was Arrow? Arrow was years ago, but it was more modern and Medici's period, so I don't think I can compare them at all. But yeah, I don't think I could.
Completely different.
Yeah, they are completely different.
Sinerva, I don't know how to say her name, Kliziex, wants to know, are there similarities between you and Clarisse?
I think so. I mean, I think there have to be, otherwise I probably wouldn't have got the part. But I don't know. I found her quite hard to relate to at the beginning. I think especially when she's wants to be, you know, wants to go into the church and wants to devote herself to God and be a nun. You know, it felt very foreign. But definitely as the story progresses and the family progresses, I think you're drawing on your own experiences or your own how you might approach a situation. So I think, yeah, I relate to her.
Sarah, what sides of Lucrezia did you love and hate the most?
Oh, I didn't hate any side of her. I thought she was an amazing woman. I mean, an amazing woman. What I loved about her was her intelligence, I suppose. She was so brilliant and well-read and influential. I loved the influence she had over her son, you know, and I would say that she made him who he was. Behind every great man is a great woman. I didn't hate anything about her. She was great.
I can't tell you how many people have asked all of you to say hello to them. So I'm sorry to just disappoint everybody. We'd be spending the whole hour saying hello to different people if we did any more of that. Several people have asked if there was a favorite scene or a favorite day or any pranks that were played on set. Any of those questions?
The day Bradley left was pretty amazing. It was a real buoyant feeling on set of just relief. I think, I mean, there were so many amazing days. Like we were shooting in these such incredible locations, like all these locations that we were actually, I mean, some of these places, these kind of heritage sites were just so insanely great to be in, and such wonderful people. You know, there's some people that aren't here today, like Francesco Montari, who was fucking so great to work with and such a wonder. And there were days where I was just like, this is so amazing to get to work with these amazing Johnny Harris and these people that you just kind of like, you're amazed at all points to be in these such amazing locations with these people and telling this story that means so much to Italians. And you're just like, wow, you know, I mean, Sarah and I were saying this the other day, it's like that I think it was a unique experience that I don't expect to be able to kind of do again. You know, there were so many incredible days because you were in the location and with these people and telling the story, and it was just, you know, very special.
Yeah. Well, I mean, any day days that stood out usually included Sebastian D'Souza. he he was a little minx. He was a little troublemaker. So there was always quite a lot of comedy on set when he was about.
Very good.
So Nerva, Martina wants to know how many times people mispronounce your name.
Oh yeah, it's, I mean, multiple times a day. Although not right now because I'm not seeing many people. But yeah, it's been an ongoing issue throughout my life. So
You wouldn't have thought Carlson was that hard to get wrong.
Boston's fine, yeah.
Poor old Sinovi.
I know.
Yeah.
Ray. I went to a thing last summer and it was like, yeah, someone read out my name and they literally said Siobhan Ray.
Can you make for us a little tutorial how to pronounce your name?
Yes.
Very tricky.
Say it. It's Synerva.
Yeah, Synerva.
There you
But
go.
I mean, in Norwegian, it's like Synerva. So it's like, you know, how are you going to tell anyone to pronounce it like that? Not that I want you to pronounce it like that. Please don't.
This is for everyone. How are you all doing in the lockdown, and where are you? Not your addresses, but where in the world are you all?
Bradley, postcode. What was that again?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I'm not at home in London at all. I'm somewhere else.
I'm in Hampshire. I'm in Hampshire in a little village in Hampshire in my house, and it's fine. I'm quite, I'm okay with lockdown.
I'm in London, very near Bradley.
I've seen Sarah's house. I would be absolutely fine in lockdown if I was in Sarah's house as well.
And how are you?
I like the ways that you put yourself in that small room, Parish, in the West Wing, and not
to seem more relatable.
Yeah.
More relatable.
I didn't want to make rubbish
Guys,
face.
I'm just one of you. I'm just one of you. You know, look, this is my bedroom. You know, well, it's like you see Parish's house.
Luke has put himself in his small room.
Yeah. I'm in Rome. I'm in Rome with my family, my 6 kids, and my wife, all together. The house is not big enough to keep us all of us inside it.
Well, some of you should move into Sarah's then.
Yeah.
No, Bradley, that's your house. You're looking at it right there. There's nothing else there.
Will, what about you? How are you coping in the lockdown?
Yeah, I'm good. Well, I'm living in Somerset in England, and it's a little bit boring, I must say, but it's fun spending time with family. So Dad's all over from work and stuff, so everybody's home, so it's nice.
Where are you in Somerset?
We are in, I'm not going to say exactly, but North Wotton, if you know what that is.
Oh, right, okay, I know, yeah. Oh,
Yes, it's very nice.
very good.
Bradley, Martinez says that you gesticulate like an Italian. Did you know that?
So it's the place rubbing off on me. Since I
not-
went there, I just fell in love with Italy and just went into my soul. And now I've got these hands that I can't control all over the place.
The spirit is inside you.
See,
Did any of you notice a difference playing with Italian actors in the way you behaved as British actors versus the Italians you were playing with?
They're so much better behaved, Frank. Italian actors.
I mean, the job those guys had to do, because they're obviously were acting in their in a different language. It was so impressive how they were able to sort of like grasp moments. You have the script, you have what you say in the scene, but there are always things that just kind of are going to bounce or happen in the scene. And like, I mean, I remember Aurora would just catch anything you throw at her and just react as though you were speaking to her in a mother tongue, even though you obviously weren't. Matteo, who you mentioned earlier, would just, he bizarrely would say that his English wasn't that good, and yet his understanding of communication, I felt, was pretty high. Certainly when we're doing scenes together. So I was always sort of having to stop myself from just kind of gawping at the Italians when they were, performing in English, and I was thinking, how are they doing this? And I went, oh no, I'm supposed to say a line now. Okay.
There was a wonderful thing that Francesco, because we did this crowd scene. Francesco, who plays Savonarola in this season, he because obviously the crowds weren't really understanding the English version that he was doing, he would then like switch into doing it in Italian and then switch back into doing it in English. And I was just there going, are you kidding? This is insane. What an amazing skit. And it was like, he just had this incredible scene where he, not only was he able to just perform it in this beautiful kind of way, but he was able to just kind of go, this isn't landing. Let me try this. And then kind of switching it into Italian and then watching their reaction and then coming back. And I was just like, yeah, it was just amazed.
Pretty amazing. Aurora wants to know if you are all still in touch and would you go have a pizza together once quarantine is over?
Is that Aurora? Our Aurora?
Aurora would know, wouldn't she?
No, that's not your Aurora. No.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, defo.
Absolutely.
We saw Finn not that long ago, didn't I, Sin?
Yeah, Sarah and Seb and I occasionally have a fun night together.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for the invite, guys.
Sorry, bad. Actually, I think we did try and invite you, and I think you were in LA.
Did.
Yeah, it must have been that, yeah.
We definitely did. Health tapes. Daniel's a bit far away to be.
Yeah. William Aleja wants to know what you enjoyed most about your character.
Giovanni, I guess his love for his family, really, because I don't want to give the plot away about Giovanni, but he really sacrifices something he loves. I mean, he didn't really have a choice, but he did it for his family, and I think that's what I loved about Giovanni, because I do something similar. So,
Luca, do you have a favorite painter of the Renaissance?
I would say Leonardo. Because we are doing something together, Frank.
Why'd you say that, Luca? What particular, what reason did you say that?
Because we are doing a wonderful show.
There it is. There it is.
It was all Sandro Botticelli a couple years ago. Now it's nothing but Leonardo.
No.
Although he does feature.
The Renaissance is full of wonderful painters: Botticelli, Leonardo, Michelangelo. Almost difficult to say, but they're really part of the world history. So, and really, that was really due to the love for arts that Medici was having. I mean, surrounding themselves about artists was, I mean, they create something unbelievable.
We're going to have to go to the two people on camera very soon, but just a couple more quick questions from Florence X Medici. Do you remember what your last scene was, each of you, the cast? The last scene you played before you wrapped?
I do, yeah. It's the scene dubbed by the Casta Sant'Angelo with when he puts the visor down on his armor and having seen the murder and puts his visor down. It was very moving.
I don't remember.
Yeah, neither.
It was in Pienza, but I can't remember.
I remember yours, Parish.
Really? What was my last scene?
Wasn't your last scene though? Yeah, it was in Pienza outside on the. I felt we wrapped you wrapped kind of that little outside courtyard part.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't remember the scene. I was definitely around there, but I can't remember what it was.
I've got a little story. Do you want to hear a story about my last scene?
Go on, Brad.
Are you going to tell it anyway?
Oh. Hang on a minute. Where was the place that we had? You know where we had the council, the big tall council place? Where was that?
Volterra.
Volterra. We're in Volterra. I won't describe the scene. Spoilers. But we're inside filming, and they've sort of curtained off the area to make it nighttime. And it's my last scene that I appear in the show, as well as being the last scene that I film. And I was like, I suddenly had a moment because I was sort of by myself with a bunch of people who I for whatever reason, the scene we were shooting, I didn't know anybody apart from Christian, the director. And we shot it, and I was sort of like, oh my, like this is my last scene of Medici. And I welled up pretty quick. In fact, you can see it, I think, on the on the take. I was like, this is, no one else is experiencing this in this little room we're in. Me, I'm privately going, and we finished the scene, and I just very slowly just meander out just to sort of not make a fuss, do a nice little, you know, like quiet exit. I'm fully aware that I'm sort of like crying now. I've got some serious tears in my eyes. I open the curtain up, and there's some people who have come to watch us film in the square, and it's broad daylight, and I was like, right, I'll go that way so that they don't, you know, I'm not like crying in the face of these people who come to see me. Anyway, I walk a few steps, out bursts Christian from the curtains that they put up, and he goes, guys, everybody, that's a wrap on Bradley! To which I then go, and bawl my eyes out, and essentially have to run to wherever it was that was the base. Basically, that was my last scene.
Oh, Brad. What was yours then?
I don't remember. I know it was in the studio in Rome, but I don't remember which scene it was. I remember my agent was there, so I was like trying not to be too emotional, but someone handed me a bottle of Prosecco, and I was like downing it. And then I was like, oh God, like I can't believe I'm done. And I was like really like wallowing in the like celebrations. And then suddenly it was like, okay, next scene, guys. Outside dressing room, had a little cry.
Will, what was yours?
I don't remember. I think I was definitely in the studio because I think we finished on the studio ones for me, but I don't remember the exact scene.
Okay. We're going to do our audience questions, our video questions now. We have two, and the first is from Elisa Sasso. So let's see if this works. There we go. We can see you.
Hey, Elisa.
Hello. Hello. Hi to everyone from Italy.
Hi.
Hello.
Ciao.
So, ciao. A few days ago, it was my birthday. And, you know, I'm in love with my crushes, Daniel, Bradley, hello. And this is like an Arsenal goal.
Birthday to you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lisa. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. I'm gonna die. My question is for everyone.
Everyone else's too.
Yeah. I have a crush on you. Really, really big, you know?
That's why you, Elisa, if you don't mind my asking.
What?
How old did you turn?
19.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, it's all downhill from there, Elisa. It's all downhill.
That's a great feedback.
Okay, so I have a question, and it's for everyone. If you could change your role with a different Medici's role, who would it be and why?
A different what, sorry?
A different part. You play a different
You have a
role
different
in the
part.
series. What would you play?
Yes.
Oh,
That's a good question.
that's a really good question, isn't it?
Thank you.
I think I'd like to be one of the popes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
costumes are pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would be maybe the Pope. Yeah, the Pope.
Pope Sixtus. John.
Yeah, Pope Sixtus. It's a cool part. I do that, and I like the costume.
Good one.
I'd like to see what I looked like with one of those haircuts. You know, the ones where you shave the middle.
Yeah.
Tom.
You have those. I think they were priests, right? Or
Yeah, I remember Jacob and I was supposed to have one.
Yes, that's right. Tonsured, they call it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
I would
almost
love to try that on. It's not really a part, is it?
It's a haircut.
So you can do that without having to play a part there. We can sort that out easy.
Come on, boys. What are you going to be?
I
I know you all want to be me,
yeah,
but you know.
you can't all be Paris. I think I would have loved to. I'd like to have been Botticelli. I think just because I would love to be in a studio. Like that's what I would love to be doing anyway. Like painting and drawing and doing all that. I think that would have been quite fun. Seb hated his drawing lessons, and he was always like, "Oh, I hate this." And I was like, that's what I'd be doing, all day. So I feel like I would have just enjoyed the prep of that. Like I remember him carting around with his art teacher, who is carting around going, "I've got a bloody another lesson. I can't be doing this." And I think I would have enjoyed that. Brothers?
Maybe Jacopo.
Good one.
Maybe.
Yep.
In fact, not maybe. Yeah, sure. Jacopo.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Yeah, Def.
Will?
Get to talk like
I
this.
mean, I loved all the sword fighting, so probably Lorenzo or Bradley's character. I think that's really cool. Sadly, Giovanni didn't have any sword fighting scenes, but I think that's really cool. So yeah.
Makes sense.
Oh, then bloody Medici.
All right. Our second video question comes from
Elisa?
by Elisa. It's Tony. Is it Gabrielle or Gabriele?
You've covered both bases there, Frank. Don't worry.
Yeah. Tony's coming. Oh, sorry. Not Tony. Denise.
Oh.
Hello.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Denise, you're muted.
Muted and video is.
Ravioli.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Here you go.
Oh,
There she is.
there she is.
We heard you. We can't see you though.
Denise.
Ciao, Denise.
Oh no, technical problem. Sorry. We're gonna try Gaia.
She's
Gone.
gone.
She's
Red
gone.
is gone.
Oh, we have a different person now.
We have Gaia Sanguinetti.
Wow, this is a dog eat dog world. Just
No,
out of there. Just
it's
not
like a red chair on Graham Norton.
Don't think
Uh-oh.
we can hear her.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
no.
Oh
gone.
my gosh!
Ow.
No,
it's gone.
don't look at that either.
Oh, Gaia's dead as well. That's it. That's
That's, yeah.
All right.
Gone.
Well, we believe it or not, we've run out of time anyway.
Oh,
The hour is over.
the hour is over.
There were literally 150 questions we didn't even get to. So
Jeez.
everybody whose question we could not answer, I apologize.
Go to @Daniel Sharman and he will answer all the questions.
Them all
Individually.
and say your names. But
I'll
once
post
again,
Bradley's address and you can and just knock on the door, just ask him a question. He loves when people come over.
I'd like to just say a special hello again to all the essential workers who wanted to watch this live and were not able to. And we hope you get a chance to watch it later on.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank Sonerva and Sarah and William and Daniel and Bradley and Luca, my dear partner, for being here, and everybody at Premiere and Avi and Charlie and Amy and Hannah and Callum and Emily for supporting us behind the scenes. And enjoy the show. We premiere tomorrow on Netflix, season 3, and you can also catch up on seasons 1 and 2. So thank you very much, everybody.
Hey,
Great
thank you, Frank.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
First one day, I hope.
See you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Am I staying on with Daniel and Bradley and Sonava?
Yeah, I think nobody will know that. Right? Nobody.